Hey guys, what's going on? We got another Mythic Plus video as Enhancement Shaman. We are doing a 12 Motherlode, and we are playing Totemic to start with. So, well, not really to start with. I'm also running House of Cards, which I have come to the decision to not run it anymore, and now I am running Azarok's Resonating Heart or whatever from Motherlode. The reason being is that I just don't like unused trinkets. That's it. It does do better DPS, the House of Cards, but there's only about I think it said a 10k difference in the sim, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with this trinket because I don't like it. But that's basically the only reason. So if you notice that I am no longer using House of Cards, that is the reason why. But anyways, on to a bigger note, we are getting Stormbringer buffs. So if you did not know, come April 15th or whichever day the reset is going to be for you, we are getting buffed with Stormbringer. And it's specifically Stormbringer, so that means nothing that is happening is going to buff Totemic. So what is happening is, I believe, Tempest Cleave. So the AoE radius, or not the radius, but the AoE effect that Tempest does is getting buffed by, I believe, 30 or 20%. And then the primary target damage of Tempest is getting upgraded by 20 or 30% as well. I don't remember the exact numbers. And then we are seeing Awakening Storms, which, if you don't remember what Awakening Storms is, it's every time Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, or Storm Strike does damage, it has a chance to do nature damage with the effect of gaining a buff called Awakening Storms, and after you gain 4 stacks, you gain a Tempest. So they're increasing that damage effect by 30%. Now, it's not a significant buff to AoE, but it is a buff in general, because 30% of something that just does damage is a 30% buff. I mean, it is what it is, but it doesn't do significant amount of damage in AoE, but it does do a good portion of damage in the single target. And then probably the biggest buff, even though it doesn't sound like it, is going to be the 5% critical damage increase to all of our nature spells from the one talent that does it. Basically, this talent increases our critical damage of our nature spells by 5% right now. That is going to 10%. So that is almost like a 5% overall increase to the Stormbringer stuff. Now, we don't crit significantly a lot, but we do crit quite a bit because we are an agility based specialization, which means we have a higher crit chance than most other classes. So that is a good thing. And plus, you're going to be seeing some massive Tempest hits if they crit. So what does this mean in general? Well, right now, Totemic has kind of taken both single target and AoE by storm. Like, it is ahead. Now, not by such a margin that I would say Stormbringer is not relevant, not even close. Stormbringer is definitely close in combat. You're talking about probably a 600k DPS increase. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. In single target, it's more like 100k. In AoE right now, it's about a 600k. So now that does change based on pull types and pull sizes and stuff like that. So everything does vary, and your proc chance. So we could be seeing Stormbringer now. I don't think it's going to pass Totemic in any form of way, but it will become very close. Like, it'll become neck and neck, I think. In AoE, I think Totemic is still gonna pull ahead because of its just raw AoE burst stuff that it does. But I think we wait see some more Stormbringer come in because, and honestly, I love Stormbringer. I am preferring it over Totemic right now. And I know it sounds weird considering I did most of last season as Totemic, but I think that's the reason why, is because I played Totemic last season, but I think the bigger reason is I like Ascendance. I really do. I feel weird not having Ascendance. I'm not gonna lie. It really does feel weird not having Ascendance. Now, I personally prefer having Root of Elements, which I am going to be testing out in a bunch of dungeons next week when the buffs come through. But the issue with Root of Elements is that it's so random. So I feel like not a lot of people know this, but Root of Elements no longer has its proc protection. And if you don't know what that means, basically, whenever you would lightning bolt, if you had failed to gain a proc of your whatever it's of root of elements, you would gain a X% increased chance. Let's just say 1% increase. So for every so at the first one you go 6%, your next one is going to be 7%, and then so on and so on. So eventually you are guaranteed that proc. But right now, you are not. Now, it is highly, highly unlikely you will go 5 minutes without a proc, or even 2 minutes without a single proc, but the chance is there. Just like the exact same chance to proc indefinitely for the entire fight. So you take that risk of, okay, I can either not get it, or I can spend the entire fight in Ascendance. Now, being a 7% proc chance, you're more likely going to not get it. But I mean, the chance is still there to indefinitely have it, which is a big buff. And if you are lucky enough to be that guy, well, you probably just got the best parse out of all enhancement shamans throughout the entire world, because that would be insane. That would be insane and so lucky, and I would honestly be impressed. But at the same time, it does come with that drawback of you could not get it. But I want them to bring sort of a guarantee effect. So I always bring it back to the way Boomkin used to have their thing. Now I don't know if they still do because I haven't even looked at Boomkin in a long time, but they used to have a talent where after 8 star surges, you would get celestial alignment or whatever their cooldown is, right? Their incarnation. And I think that is a great, great design because it one, it guarantees it, and two, you can plan for it. So that's one thing that I'd like them to look into. Now, I do like the random proc. It does add into enhancements, lottery, casino style, which I have a love-hate relationship with because it really does suck when RNG is not on your side. But yeah. But on another note, um, we were doing some keys, specifically Motherload, because we scuffed 2 keys. We scuffed a 14 and we scuffed a 13. What a surprise. We really suck at this game. I don't know why I play it, but um, I was doing the first boss and I ran into a bug, and I was Totemic, keep that in mind, where I had infinite Maelstrom until I used Primordial Storm again. I don't know if anybody else has had this issue, and what caused it, I don't know. But basically, I would Elemental Blast, and normally with Stormbringer, even when you get the reset, you would see the Maelstrom disappear and come back. Well, that never happened. It just stayed there. So I was really confused. So I pressed Lightning Bolt. It did maximum damage. Okay. I'll press Ellie Blast. It did maximum damage. And I was like, okay, I still have Maelstrom. What is going on? So I just started spamming Lightning Bolt, and I still had it, had it, had it. And I was like, what? What? Now, in Totemic, your Maelstrom spenders are not your big damage. So it wasn't really a buff in a sense, but it was just so weird. And then I used Primordial Wave and then Primordial Storm, and my Maelstrom disappeared. And I was just so weird. It was just weird. Like, why did this happen? Like, I don't know if anybody else has run into that issue. Like, I have had where Stormbringer, you get like a bunch of procs back, but you do see the Maelstrom disappear and come back. Disappear, come back. This, I was Totemic. Totemic of all things, where you have no Maelstrom reset potential, and the bar just did not disappear. It was so weird. I'm gonna have to clip it and post it somewhere. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else has had that issue, but it was just so weird, and I've never seen it before. So let me know if you have had that. But anyways, guys, that is it for my commentary. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video so far, and hopefully you will enjoy the rest of it because it is a bit messy. But we ended up timing it anyways. But anyways, we are getting a buff to Stormbringer, so that is super exciting, and you're going to see a whole lot more Stormbringer from me, and I just fumbled a bunch of words, so hopefully you understood that. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it so far, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!
you want a job done right, use Mega Explosive! I love the smell of propellants in the morning! I love the smell of propellants in the morning! Safety first! Safety first! I love the smell of propellants in the morning! Safety first! I love the smell of propellants in the morning! I love the smell of propellants in the morning! Holy shit! The hazard pay!
I simply wish you had lasted a little longer. Your survival wasn't necessary. Only the strongest survive.